So today I'm going to do a short video on the formation of hydrothermal vents. It is part of section 6 of the marine science syllabus in the AS biology. And in the book here it is section 6.4, hydrothermal vents. When we talk about hydrothermal vents in marine science, many students immediately go straight to the mutualistic relationship between the bacteria and the riftworms, and that is super interesting. But we also have to be aware of the physical and the chemical way that these structures form. So for a hydrothermal vent to form, we need some hot magma to be close to the surface, and we need cold water under pressure. So here I have a badly drawn ocean, and we have water here under a lot of pressure. So it's cold and it's under pressure. If there are cracks in the seabed, water will do what water do. It will run down, and here is under a lot of pressure, so it will run down and it will seep through these creeks here into the seabed. If they then come in contact here with some heated magma, of course the water will then be heated up. Normally, when we think about water getting heated up, we immediately think that the water will then turn to steam. But since the water is here under a lot of pressure, many atmosphere, this works as a giant pressure cooker. So although the water becomes very hot, it does not turn to steam. Now the water here, the superheated water, because it is so hot, it can now dissolve a lot of ions in it. So in here, we'll get a lot of copper, some iron, some zinc, sulfides, but also more volatile stuff like methane and hydrogen sulfide. So we have now this super hot water filled with metal ions. And again, it's important that Cambridge would like you to remember which ions, not just ions, but able to name something like copper, iron, methane. Now, of course, as the water gets hot, it has a lower density, so it will have a tendency to go up. So this superheated water now comes up. As it comes up, it then meets layers of colder water. That of course means that the water will now cool off, and as it cools off, it becomes colder, it can now carry less of all the metal ions as it cools down. And as this cools down, then all these ions here will start to form these layers around the hot spot, which we call the chimney of the black smoker. It's called a black smoker here because all, especially the iron, the metal, make the water black, see through the sulfur. But come up here, cools down, and many of these dissolved irons will then become solids, which can form around these structures, which can be up to 60 meters tall and look like these underwater chimneys. This is at the side here of these chimneys that we then can see the formation of the hydrothermal vent communities, where we have a chemosynthetic bacteria who lives in symbiosis with the different riftworms. But that is another story. The story here is how the physical formation of the hydrothermal vents happen. Thank you for staying with me.